Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the FM 1641/548 virtual public hearing. We appreciate your interest in the project and welcome each of you. Please note you can pause this presentation at any point to allow more time to view the slides. Given the unique circumstance of the COVID-19 outbreak, along with our commitment to protecting public health during this national emergency, TxDOT is conducting this virtual public hearing to avoid in-person contact. At this time, the virtual format will be in lieu of an in-person public hearing. The presentation will cover the same information the Dallas District would have shared at the in-person public hearing. However, the comment process will be different. Details on how to submit a comment and have your questions addressed will be covered later on in this presentation. All project information can be found on the TxDOT website. This virtual public hearing has been convened by the Texas Department of Transportation and is being held to receive and consider comments from the public regarding the project. You may have attended previous public hearings conducted by the Texas Department of Transportation. However, for the benefit of those of you who have never attended one, I would like to explain why and how the department conducts a public hearing. A public hearing has four essential purposes. 1. Inform the public of the status of planning on the project and present the recommendations based on studies performed to date. 2. Describe the project so those attending can determine the project's potential to affect their lives and property. 3. Provide the public an opportunity to see information and express their views at this stage in the planning process, when flexibility to respond to comments still exists and before location and design decisions are finalized. 4. And finally, to develop a record of public views and participation to accompany recommendations for subsequent decisions. This virtual public hearing is being held in compliance with both federal and state laws. A transcript of this hearing will be made available for the official record. Following this virtual public hearing, the department will proceed with the preparation of the final environmental documentation. Your statements and comments will be addressed in this document and will be given full consideration in the preparation of the final recommendation and design for the project. Comments will be accepted in a number of ways. You may fill out a comment online, submit a written comment via email to nelson.underwood@txdot.gov, submit a written comment via mail to TxDOT Dallas District Office, Attention Nelson Underwood, PE, 4777 East Highway 80, Mesquite, Texas 75150. Or leave a verbal comment via voicemail at 469-708-3179. There is a link for a PDF comment form that can be filled out on the computer and emailed to the address provided, or printed, filled out by hand, and then mailed to the address provided. Comments must be received or postmarked within 15 days of the hearing date, which is July 15, 2020, to be part of the official virtual public hearing record. Questions on this project may be directed to the TxDOT project manager, Nelson Underwood, PE, at nelson.underwood@txdot.gov. I will now explain the design aspects of the project. The design schematic and environmental documentation for the project may be viewed at www.keepitmovingdallas.com under Public Hearings/Meetings, at www.txdot.gov by searching Hearings and Meeting Schedule, or on www.keepitmovingdallas.com/FM1641. The information on these websites is the same information being presented in this speech. TxDOT is proposing to widen an approximate 5.6-mile long section of FM 1641/548 in Kaufman County. The reconstruction project includes widening approximately 0.22 miles of FM 548 and approximately 5.44 miles of FM 1641. The proposed project is needed because the existing FM 1641 and FM 548 within the project limits fails to meet current design standards and is inadequate to meet current and future traffic volumes, resulting in congestion and reduced mobility. The purpose of the proposed project is to provide infrastructure options to reduce traffic congestion on the existing roadways, to improve operations of the roadway, to provide a safer, more convenient route for traveling through the area, to increase mobility, including pedestrian and bicycle accommodations, and to add capacity. The existing FM 1641 facility from FM 548 to FM 148 in Kaufman County mainly consists of one 11-foot wide northbound travel lane, one 11-foot wide southbound travel lane, rural roadway with no median, and 3-foot wide shoulders. There are two existing bridges over FM 1641 where I-20 crosses. The facility is intersected by two major collectors, including I-20, FM 548, and other minor collectors and local roads. There are right and left turns present at key intersections and school entrances. Existing posted speed limits are 35 miles per hour at school zones and 40 to 55 miles per hour in other sections of the corridor. The existing FM 1641 right-of-way width ranges from 90 to 125 feet. The existing FM 548 from US 80 to FM 1641 in Kaufman County is an urban roadway consisting of two 11-foot wide northbound travel lanes and two 11-foot wide southbound travel lanes with a median. Along the FM 548 section, there are railroad tracks crossing FM 548 near East Broad Street. The facility is intersected by two major collectors, including East Broad Street and East US 80. There are right and left turn lanes present at key intersections. Existing posted speed limit is 40 miles per hour. The existing FM 548 right-of-way width ranges from 130 to 140 feet. The proposed project includes widening approximately 0.22 miles of FM 548 from US 80 to FM 1641 and widening approximately 4.34 miles of FM 1641 from FM 548 to IH20. Both roadways would be reconstructed to an urban 4-lane, ultimate 6-lane. This section of the proposed project would consist of two northbound and two southbound 12-foot wide travel lanes with a 42-foot wide raised median and a shared use path in each direction to accommodate bicycles and pedestrians. Turning lanes will be provided within the median at some locations. The proposed right-of-way width would range from a minimum of 120 feet to a maximum of approximately 155 feet. This section of the proposed project would consist of widening and reconstructing approximately 1.07 miles of FM 1641 from IH20 to FM 148 to an urban 4-lane section with a 2-way left turn lane. This section of the proposed project would consist of two northbound and two southbound 12-foot wide travel lanes with a 20-foot wide 2-way left turn lane and a shared use path in each direction to accommodate bicycles and pedestrians. The proposed right-of-way width would range from a minimum of 130 feet to a maximum of approximately 155 feet. Approximately 22.26 acres of new right-of-way and 0.24 acres of permanent drainage easements would be required to accommodate the proposed improvements for the entire proposed project. Proposed easements would be located at strategic stream crossing areas. Proposed drainage would be curb and gutter. Utility adjustments and relocations throughout the corridor would be required prior to construction. The adjustments and relocation of any utilities would be managed so that no substantial interruptions would occur. The project is anticipated to be ready to let by 2022 and will take approximately 3 years to construct. Letting is when TxDOT notifies the construction community that a project is ready to be bid on. Construction on a project begins after the letting process is complete. The total estimated construction cost for the project is approximately $57.6 million. The project is unfunded and cannot be let until funding is identified. This concludes the project information and design portion of the presentation. The next few slides will provide an overview of the environmental evaluation for the proposed FM 1641/548 project. Prior to December 16, 2014, the Federal Highway Administration, or FHWA, reviewed and approved documents prepared under the National Environmental Policy Act, known as NEPA. However, on December 16, 2014, the Texas Department of Transportation assumed responsibility from FHWA through a Memorandum of Understanding to review and approve certain assigned NEPA environmental documents. This Memorandum of Understanding between TxDOT and FHWA was updated on December 9, 2019. The review and approval process applies to this project. Environmental studies were conducted for the proposed project to support an environmental clearance in accordance with NEPA. These environmental analyses are necessary to identify, avoid, and minimize effects of the human and natural environments. The technical environmental documentation was approved for further processing by TxDOT and was coordinated with other public agencies. Notices for this public hearing were advertised in the Dallas Morning News, Al Dia, and Forney Messenger, on the TxDOT.gov website under Hearings and Meeting Schedules, and on keepitmovingdallas.com under Public Hearings and Meetings. The TxDOT Public Information Office also prepared a news media release to advertise the public hearing. The TxDOT technical reports and roadway design schematics are available at keepitmovingdallas.com and TxDOT.gov. The technical documentation for this project addresses the potential environmental impacts identified during the preliminary engineering of the proposed project. These areas of potential impacts included natural, social, and cultural resources. This slide shows a list of all resources that were evaluated during the environmental analysis. The following slides include a summary of those findings. A total of approximately 22.26 acres of new right-of-way and 0.24 acres of permanent drainage easements would be required to complete the proposed improvements. Right-of-way would be acquired from numerous properties along both the east and west side of the project. No businesses or residents would be displaced. No public facilities such as parks, recreational areas, churches, schools, or cemeteries would be displaced as a result of the construction of the project. All right-of-way acquisition would be completed in accordance with the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970, as amended. Brochures titled The Purchase of Right-of-Way and Relocation Assistance are available on our website at Keep It Moving Dallas. These materials contain detailed information to inform you of your rights and provide information about the TxDOT right-of-way acquisition process. TxDOT historians evaluated historic age structures constructed prior to 1978 and found that there were no structures that would meet eligibility criteria for listing on the National Register of Historic Places. A background archaeological study concluded that the project will have no effect on archaeological historic properties. No further work is recommended at this time. A majority of the project area is outside FEMA-designated 100-year flood hazard areas. The only flood hazard area is associated with an intermittent tributary to Buffalo Creek. The hydraulic design for this project would be in accordance with current TxDOT policies. The proposed project would result in the permanent fill of approximately 0.19 acres of streams associated with waters of the U.S. Regulated activities would be authorized under a Clean Water Act Section 404 Nationwide Permit 14. There were no sites considered to be an environmental risk to the proposed project. Any unanticipated hazardous materials impacts encountered during project construction in the site already discovered shall be addressed in accordance with regulatory requirements and TxDOT standard specifications. A traffic noise analysis was conducted in accordance with TxDOT's FHWA-approved 2011 guidelines for analysis and abatement of roadway traffic noise. Based on the analysis, 6 receptors are expected to be impacted by noise. Noise abatement options were considered for these receptors in accordance with TxDOT and FHWA criteria. It was determined that noise barriers would be feasible and reasonable for the 3 of the 6 impacted receivers, representing 29 single-family residences, and therefore are proposed for incorporation into the project. Based on the studies thus far, the environmental investigations indicate that the proposed project would have no significant impacts on the quality of the human environment. Revisions may be made to the environmental documents to either update them or address the needs of the state and federal agencies. Revisions may also result from the considerations of public comments received during the comment period. After all necessary revisions are provided, a categorical exclusion determination is anticipated for this project. The public comment period for the proposed project ends July 15, 2020. Following this virtual public hearing, documentation of this public hearing will be reviewed by TxDOT for final environmental clearance and design approval. If there are no major issues arising from this hearing that cannot be addressed in a reasonable time frame, final environmental clearance is expected by summer 2020. The project has an anticipated ready-to-let date of 2022. Construction is anticipated to last for approximately 3 years. This concludes the environmental evaluation portion of the presentation. As mentioned earlier, comments will be accepted in 4 ways, which are outlined on this slide. All comments will be fully considered and responded to in the project record and made part of the final environmental document for this proposed project. This document will then be made available for public review online at www.keepitmovingdallas.com under upcoming public hearing/meeting and www.txdot.gov by searching Hearings and Meeting Schedule. All of your statements, comments, and questions will be given careful consideration before final design features are determined. Additionally, all information developed for the proposed design is available for public inspection and copying at www.keepitmovingdallas.com under upcoming public hearing/meeting or on www.txdot.gov by searching Hearings and Meeting Schedule. As a reminder, all comments must be received or postmarked by July 15, 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, we sincerely appreciate your attendance and interest concerning the proposed design of the FM 1641/548 project. Your questions, comments, and concerns will receive careful consideration. Thank you. This concludes the formal presentation. We are now adjourned.